Shy's back, everybody. Welcome in. Hello, I am here. How's it going? I will count the hydrates in a minute. I'm guessing it's 10. Oh my goodness. We got Maker of Rain first. Maker of Rain, welcome in. How's it going? We got Maya's here. I hope you have more writing time today. Shy Revenge is here. Hell yeah. Learnfish, hello. This is a productivity stream. We're gonna do work. I'm gonna do work. And you guys can work with me. Or not, as you choose. Have moisty. I do stagger them. There's no cooldown on hydrates, but I do stagger them. I'm not gonna check my coffee. Can't hear shit, also won't stay because watching The Daily Show. Bye! Bye, we love you. We're glad to have you back. Listen, Ghost tried to change the settings on his hydrate one time, and his whole chat rioted, so I've never touched the settings on the hydrate. I just drink responsibly. Creating a smaller discount journal for next month. Heck yeah, Shy, that sounds great. Peter's here. Peter, how's it going? I'm in time for the opening monologue. You are. We're just getting started. Your entire stream, then I get to attack my to-do list. Hell yeah, we're gonna get so much work done today. For anyone who's new, because I see a couple of first-time chats here this morning, my name's Megan, aka Starborn Striker. I'm an author. I write sci-fi and fantasy books, and sometimes I do it on stream. And today is a sort of kind of special stream because I'm finishing a project that I started on stream, which is Bonkers Town Insane to me. So we'll get to that in a minute. I am new. Hello, I am Peter. Hello, Peter. You're not new, but we love you. Hang on. I was cold until I sat down, and now all of a sudden I'm not cold. I'm sure I'll be cold again in a minute, but here we go. The people have spoken. We are going to be extremely hydrated. Let me guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Of course. This is an average number of hydrations. We'll start with 3. A 1. A 2. A 3. 3 licks to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop. Plentyman, welcome in. We'll add that hydrate to the pile. So yeah, I write sci-fi and fantasy novels. If you're new here and you'd like to learn more about that, you can use one of the commands up in the corner here. The exclamation books will take you to my Amazon store. 30 stream streak! Peter, holy wow, thank you for hanging out so often. Hey, Glendyman, don't be sorry. That's what the hydrates are there for. I appreciate you. So the exclamation books will take you to my Amazon store. Exclamation newsletter will take you to my newsletter sign-up page. You get 2 free novels for signing up for my newsletter. One is a sci-fi novella, technically, called The Paradox Syndrome. Which is about a paradox loop. And the second one is called The Oracle's Tale. It is a novel. I believe it was full novel length by the time it was finished. That is a fantasy tale set in a fantasy world. And it is named in the tradition of the Canterbury Tales, so this is the Oracle's Tale. So you get both of those for free for signing up, and if you're signed up for my newsletter, you get free fiction delivered to your inbox most months. You'll get updates on everything that's going on my blog, everything that's going on my projects, and if I have a book on sale or a new book coming out, you'll get notified straight to your inbox. So that you're just one click away from those. So that's me. If you have any questions about any of my projects, they're all down in the About section. Just let me know which one you'd like to know more about. I did get a chance to go through Blur. Hello, how's it going? I did get a chance to go through yesterday. I've updated some of my commands and I've updated some of my redeems, my channel points redeems. So I cleared out a couple of commands that weren't really being used and were just kind of hanging out, not doing anything. There are commands for each of my works in progress, although I don't have them listed anywhere yet, which will take you to the Amazon stores for those. So for now, if anyone has any questions about any of my projects, let me know. I can trigger the command. I'm working on getting the About section updated a little bit, hopefully tonight, for that. There's also 3 new channel points redeems for specifically this game. Sardonisms, you're good. We just started. Buy Megan's books, they're great. God damn it. Thank you, Peter. Not one of the command. It's just we shortened it to exclamation books, but I appreciate the sentiment. There are 3 new channel points redeems in the channel points redeem sections. They're all for this game. So you can now choose the spirit companion and the skin that they're wearing. So it's just one redeem for that. So when you type in which animal companion, which spirit companion you want, if there's a specific skin you want, just specify the skin. And we will load that one in as well. You can also choose the location and activity. So when you choose which activity you want to do, you can choose if you want it to be in the bedroom or on the train. Proto-Matt, welcome in. Uh-oh, what happened? It sounds like something eventful occurred. So you can choose that. And then there is also, you can choose the background and the time of day. Not all of the backgrounds are compatible between the train and the bedroom. So if you choose it, like if a bedroom location has been chosen, then the background has to match that location. And there are limited 3 per stream, so we'll keep them up for a sprint, and then I'll change them at the breaks. So we usually do 3 sprints, so they're limited 3 per stream each. So that way I'll just cycle through them if they're redeemed quickly or if they're not redeemed at all, whatever. It's been busy, I hope busy in a good way. Late December back in 63, what a very special time for me, as I remember. What a week. What a week back in 63. Voodoo, any skin except Galaxy, because I want to see the little designs. Heck yeah, we can hang out with Voodoo for our first Sprinty Spront, which we'll set up here in a few minutes. So if anybody wants to decide where we're going to hang out and what we're going to do for the first sprint as well, you can redeem those. Are we working on a plane? This is the train. This background is the Sky City. So this one is only on the train. There's no Sky City in the bedroom. But every now and then in the background there'll be a city, a cloud city. Yeah, you can redeem, now I did set it at, 300 points for each of them, so if you're just hanging out for the first time, it might take you a little while to, unlock the redeems. I tried to keep it low. This is, Lo-Fi Sessions Spirit City. This is, it's listed as a game on Steam, but it's technically a productivity app. And basically, once I sort of turn it on here, you can see that, it's essentially a body doubling program. Taryn, heck yeah! The Orange Pupper, heck yeah, we'll hang out with the Orange Pupper for our second sprint, heck yeah. So basically what you can do is you can set up your avatar to look however you want. You can set up your background to look however you want. You can also, when you're choosing the location, you can choose which preset you want. So we have 3 different presets. And when you're choosing the activity, you can choose the avatar you want. So we also have 3 different avatars that you can choose from. And then basically I can turn on a timer here and it will run in the background, and it's basically for Pomodoro technique, Learnfish. I don't know if you know what Pomodoro is. But the idea is that we're going to talk for a little while, like we usually do, because I yammer way too much at the beginning of stream. And then we'll get quiet. We'll go into focus mode for 30 minutes. We'll all hopefully get some work done. And then we talk some more in the middle. Spoopy Swamp? Heck yeah, we can do Spoopy Swamp for our first Sprinty Spront. Orange Pepper Equals Rocco, my in real life doggo. That's awesome, Taryn. I do know that a couple of the Lenny skins were based on, like, actual people's cats. They did when they first released the game, they did a little contest where people could submit pictures of their cats. So there are a couple of Lenny skins that are actually based on actual cats. Didn't know you did it in real life stuff. Yep, pretty much what we refer to as a sprint, it's not running, obviously, is basically productivity. We'll go into focus mode, and for me, I'll write as many words as I possibly can in that time frame. You'll hear lots of clicky clacks from my keyboard. And then once we hit the end of the timer, we'll talk about stuff. It's not a super exciting stream, Learnfish, so if it's not your jam, I totally understand. Basically, I write full-time. That's my full-time gig. And I just share my workspace. Brown and white Lenny for the third sprint. Yep, he looks like our little Pickles. Aw, of course. I didn't do him before because the day you asked for him was the day you had to leave. And I wanted to wait until you were around to actually have him. Just Twitch surfing. I can talk. Just Twitch surfing right now. You make a living off of writing. Somewhat. I have other income streams as well. So my husband and I have sort of set up our finances so that they don't rely on my income. So I do make a small income off of my writing. If I was alone and didn't have other income streams, I would have to say no to that question. But because I do have other income streams, I am able to do this full time. I'm able to write full time, publish full time, and stream some of my writing time. And we talk a lot about writing. We talk a lot about self-publishing. And just in general, we just talk about random bullshit sometimes. But I know that the productivity portions of the stream are not super entertaining if you're not also working at the same time. So we have talked about eggs an inordinate amount. That is true. Eggs have come up. But yeah, I wanted to save the kitty for when you were here. So I would like to see Pickles immortalized in my book as Dodo. I'm saying that wrong. I'm gonna say that horribly wrong. Closest Chinese cat name. It means beans. Aw, beans. I'm sure I said that horribly wrong because I don't speak Chinese. On this channel, we learned a new way to make spaghetti. No, Peter. We don't talk about that. Currently have Lenny and his Tuxedo Cat skin. That's one of my favorite ones. I also love Tuxedo Cats. Nomad edits on Chapter 4 all done. Heck yeah, Shy. I don't usually show the words on stream because spoilers. I'm very late in a series here, so anything I show on the screen would be massive spoilers. So we don't show the screen anymore. I used to when I first started this particular project, which we'll talk about in a minute. I used to show all of what I was writing, but I hit a point where I was like, okay, if I show any more, it's going to be massive spoilers. So we don't show the words anymore. It's a long O sound. Got ya, got ya. I looked at it and I was like, I don't know what the OU Chinese like transliteration is. We talked yesterday about me having read Romance of the Three Kingdoms. The book starts with um, telling you how to read the names in English, like how they transliterate the characters into English language and which sounds we don't have like letters for, so they have to transliterate them by marking them a certain way. And I vaguely remember a few of them, but it has been a couple years now since I read that, so I don't remember them. I did unironically read all of it, yes. I broke it down into chunks. It was a very long, it's a very long book, and it took me a long time to read. It also has, like this many of the book, this much of the book is, like, footnotes. But it was very fascinating. I'm a huge history nerd, and I'm married to a huge history nerd, so, so I have read a lot of historical things, but that's like my only experience with like transliteration of Chinese words. So I don't know it very well. Yes, Dynasty Warriors is the game series that is based on Romance of the Three Kingdoms. It's the same story, exactly the same. And it was kind of cool to read the like original source material and see where some of that stuff came from. I took 2 years of Mandarin in high school, so I can read Pinyin. Is that how you say that? Pinyin? That's awesome. I've heard that Mandarin is actually a very tough language to read because it's a lot of rote memorization. So that's amazing. I took 2 years of French in high school, and I can say I don't speak English. And hello, my name is. And I can say Babar is on the box. I don't remember most of my French classes. I remember that we had a little Babar, and if you know who Babar is, points to you because I'm dating myself here. We had a little Babar elephant, and our French teacher would put him, he had like a little box, and he would put him somewhere in relation to the box, and he would say, "Où est Babar?" which is, "Where is Babar?" And we had to answer based on the location of the elephant. And the only one I remember is Babar est dans la boîte, which means that Babar is on the box. Let me quickly, because we have had a redeem for the Spoopy Swamp backgrounds. For now, I will just plunk us somewhere since no one has redeemed an activity yet. But we've got this. Did you have a particular time of day that you wanted the Spoopy Swamp to be? Sardonisms, I believe it was Sardonisms who redeemed the Spoopy Swamp. Also, it does look better if I hide the visual effect, which I have done. And for our first sprint, we're gonna hang out with the Voodoo. I think this is the right one. The Voodoo versus the other one. Yes, the other guy is called Noodle Doo. Anything at the bay window? Heck yeah. Evening. Parfait. I love, this is my favorite background. I'm kind of hoping that when they do the fall update this year, they'll add a moving background of this for the train. So, heck yeah. Babar, what a callback. Heck yeah, somebody else remembers Babar. Yeah, we had our nice little Babar plushie, and that was how we learned locations in French, relational locations. I took 2.5 years of Spanish in high school, a long, long time ago, and I took about 4 years of Japanese, and I can't speak or read either. Japanese was a language I always wanted to learn as well, but it was never, I never had access to the classes. Wolf has taken a fair amount of Japanese and does recognize a fair number of Japanese phrases, which I think is awesome. He took it in college. I know how to pronounce the letters when they're spelling Chinese words, is what I mean. Yeah, that makes sense. That's gorgeous. I was thinking of night, but this is better. I mean, I can change it to the night. If you prefer this one, we could do night. But you do get a little bit more of the details in the evening time. I tried so many times to learn Japanese, but I got so discouraged by how long it takes. It's another language where the English language is based on sort of a grouping of languages that all spawned from Latin, and they all follow kind of similar rules. English is just 3 other languages in a trench coat, so we have basically taken rules from a handful of other languages and words from a handful of other languages and just smacked them into our repertoire, which is why not all words follow the same rules for pluralization, possession, all that kind of stuff. Well, I guess possession mostly they do, but pluralization, past and present tense, that kind of thing. But there are some languages, like in French, when you're learning how to conjugate verbs, it all follows the same process, but there are some languages where they follow completely different rules about, like, the words don't modify each other, and Chinese and Japanese are more like that. They don't necessarily... In English, you learn a root word, and then it has a bunch of modifications based on relations to other contexts. And languages like Japanese and Chinese don't work exactly the same as that, so it's actually a lot more work for an English speaker to learn those languages because you don't have the, like, root foundation. It's not the same. So what you rely on to learn English and to memorize the rules of English is completely different, and it's more work. Only 3? Question mark? I'm not sure what that's in reference to. I once read a YA novel where the girl tried to show off how smart she was by saying, "I know how to conjugate Chinese verbs," and I think I DNF'd right then and there. Yeah, I don't think they conjugate verbs in Chinese. They just have different words. It's different. Japanese was hard to learn for me because my brain was trying to read their language, especially kanji, as pictures, not as words. Yes, yes. Only 3, as in only 3 languages in a trench coat. I mean, there's probably at least 5 in there, let's be honest, or more. But you can tell when you look at how a word is, like how a word changes from past, present, and future tense, and how it changes when you use it in, like, pluralization or based on the pronouns surrounding it. That's how you can tell which language it came from. If it follows a certain set of rules, it came from German. If it follows a different set of rules, it came from French. It's a whole thing. Chinese verbs don't conjugate. They have particles that indicate tense. Yes, if needed, but I'm pretty sure they skip that a lot based on some machine translations. Yes, because I think in the native, like, because we have to keep in mind, too, that when we see Chinese written out, like, or translated into English, it's usually transliterated first, which means that they've taken the symbols that it's written in. I don't know what the proper term for Chinese writing is, but they've taken the symbols that it's written in and they've put it in English letters, like standard English letters, and then they've translated it from that into English, right? So what we see as Chinese names is how they're written in English form, but that's not how they're written in their native language. So you have to keep in mind that, like, if you're looking at, like, a Japanese manga and you're seeing the way it's written in Japanese and the way it's written in English, it's gone through like 2 translations to get to English. Japanese sentences are written backwards as well. They put their verbs in a different, like, their words go in a different order. Kind of like if you think of how Yoda speaks in Star Wars, and how he puts the words in a different order. The Chinese language is like that. They organize their sentences in a different order, and so their words also modify each other in a different order. So it's a completely different way of communicating than we do in English. So it makes it, like, it's easier to learn a language like Spanish or French because the way that they organize their language is very similar to the way that we organize our language. And we have words that have come from those languages that are familiar to us. So those rules are much easier. Latin punctuation and the way Latin works is very similar. English stole a lot or borrowed a lot from Latin. It evolved a lot from Latin. So when you look at the way Latin works, it feels very familiar. Even though it's a dead language that nobody speaks anymore. Subject, object, verb, but also they put all the dependent clauses in different places. I don't know what SVO means. Or stands for. And if I do, it's not clicking. Subject, verb, object. Yes, but I know Japanese is different. But Chinese can still be really hard for English speakers to learn for other reasons, right? Because they handle it completely different. But it's really interesting if you start to... I was saying yesterday that I'm a huge language nerd. It's really interesting because if you break English down and get right down to the base components, there's even a sort of an unspoken order that you put your descriptive terms in as well. And if you put your descriptive terms out of order, you can feel when you read it instinctively that there's something wrong with the sentence. Even though in the most technical sense, it doesn't matter, but when you read the sentence in the proper order, it just feels right. I wish I could learn another language too, Proto-Matt. I don't have the patience. We kind of talked about that yesterday. I've given up so many times. Anyway, today's project, the thing we're working on today is we're going to outline the final book in Everyone's Child, which is called Everyone's Celestial Mother, if you've peeked down at the bottom. So all of the titles for this series have been like a group pronoun, essentially, followed by a descriptive term, followed by a familial term. So we had Someone's Suffering Child was the first book, Each One's Wayward Niece, No One's Beloved Sister, Anyone's Crazy Aunt. Those are the 4 that are currently out. And then the last one that we worked on was, I believe it was Either One's Devoted Grandmother. And then today we're outlining Everyone's Celestial Mother, which has been the name of the book since it was pretty much the second book I named in the series. And this is book 6. This is the final installment in the series, which means I have to take all of the threads that I've sort of spawned throughout the writing of this book series, and I need to make them all make sense. So the very first thing I am going to do when we get down into productivity today is I am going to take out my list of things that need to happen in this book, that need to be resolved, that have been mentioned in the past and never gone anywhere, so that I know that all of those things need to be somewhere in the plot. And then usually what I do after that is I make a bunch of Post-it notes across the front of my screen, and I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna start organizing each faction's plot arc, essentially, get my key beats in there of everything that needs to be that needs to happen, and then I'll start weaving them into the order that I want to write them in. So this is an all-day process for me. I won't get it fully finished on stream, But it is a little special that I'm working on this today because I started this whole project on stream. So when I first started streaming, I was finishing up Eternity's Empire, which was my Magical Girls in Space, my sort of mythological mashup, Magical Girls in Space series. And when I finished that, I realized that I kind of had a prime opportunity to start working on a project on stream and to basically work on that project completely on stream. So originally the plan was to only work on it on stream. I had to change that about midway through the first book. I had to change how I was doing that because I just didn't have enough stream time to get it all done. But I did completely outline, completely world build, and completely write the first book on stream. Those VODs are all saved on YouTube. And it was about midway through the editing for the first book I had to start doing some of it off stream because I just didn't have time. And so we've done bits and pieces of the project on stream since then. But I have been streaming throughout the entire process of this book, and I do have VODs throughout the entire process, sort of documenting how this project has come together. So it's a little mind-blowing and a little special that I get to outline the final book in the series on stream and have that record of having come all the way through this series. And I'm just realizing I never did more of the hydrates, so let's do more hydrates. 4, 5, 6. I do think they are called indefinite pronouns. I do think that sounds correct to me. So I do need to freeze the animations just briefly whilst I pull up my OneNote. I don't already have a tab, so I need to make a tab in OneNote. New section. I need to check the color because this color is horrible. I don't want that to be the color for sure. This one should be red. New. Silver. There we go. This would be... Now, I did lose my templates when I switched computers. The only thing that I don't think I managed to keep was my templates, so I think I have to make a new one quick. Which isn't super hard, but is a pain in the butt. more intelligent way. Ah! That's the sound I make at my computer when it doesn't do what I want it to do. One thing that really annoys me about this program is that it's fiddly about line breaks. OneNote is kind of like they built this program and it was good, but then they decided they didn't really want it. So they kind of stopped building it. So it does what I want it to do, but it does have some very annoying quirks. Yeah, I have a very old version of OneNote from 2007 because I don't like the newer version of OneNote. I only use the 2007 version. And like I said, it's annoyingly quirky, but it's the only thing that kind of does exactly what I want it to do, so I deal with it, but it is a pain in the butt. And I should have done all this before stream, but I just was not that organized. So I'm gonna get this set up, and then we're gonna take our first break, and then we're gonna do our first sprint. And if anybody wants to redeem a location or an activity for the second and third sprints, you can go ahead and do that. I did put a limit of 3 on them, so it should basically, once all 3 of them have been redeemed for the stream, it should run out. So if you're able to redeem it, then that means there is a sprint left to claim, essentially. I have a couple more redeems that I do want to try to figure out how to do, but I won't be able to do them. No, don't do that. But I won't be able to do them with Stream Elements. I think I'm gonna have to look into StreamerBot. So I need to talk to a couple of people who I know use that program. Use that program. Use that chat bot. Kitchen table typing, whatever time of day. Heck yeah. So we will type in the kitchen with the orange pupper next. Oops. I just figured I play this game so often off stream, that I may as well let you guys pick what we do on stream. That way I don't have to constantly pick, because I know that I pick the same couple of places over and over, and the same couple of spirits over and over, because I like them. They're my favorites, but I want you guys to get to see some of your favorites too. So probably if they release new stuff that we need to unlock, then I would like turn off the redeems just long enough for us to unlock the new stuff. But we're usually pretty up to date on the unlocks, so pretty much anything anybody would want would be in there. Alright, perfect. Alright, new outline, space, ready to go. I have my left to resolve space to fill in. Let's do 3 more of these. 7, 8, and 9. Nothing like not remembering the spelling of your character's name. I do this all the time, in my defense, it's a semi-minor character and has a weirdly spelled name because he's an ancient treant. I've changed the spelling. I have spelled my own names wrong so hard that I've changed the spelling of my characters' names to match how I spell it incorrectly. Because I'm a horrible person. Writer problems. Hashtag just writer problems. The struggle is real. Alright, let's take our cheeky little break and we're going to get started. We're going to do 3 sprints. And we have a location, and we have an activity and a spirit for the next sprint, but if anybody wants to claim a background for the second sprint, you can do the redeem at any time, and I will be right back. I'm back, and we've got 2 more hydrates to be finished. / caught up. A 1. And a 2 for Pi and for Clendyman. I have to keep the spelling for... I'm horrible with names. Carmen? Kyr? I tried. The same because even when I misspell it, it looks wrong. He gets nearly burned to ashes in the first novel of Shadows of Corellon and gives the MC a branch and tells her to plant it where she finds solace. And they'll see each other again. Oh, that's so beautiful! I'm sure I murdered at least one of those names, but that sounds so beautiful! My! Alright, let's get into it, shall we? Let's do the thing. Okay, I have handwritten list. Some people are getting bad endings in this book. They deserve it, though. Kareem. Ah, okay. Is kind of how I pronounce it in my head. The way you pronounce it in your head is the right way. It's your name. Not much has happened for the last 20 minutes, honestly. Work. Okay, did I forget anything? Having fun cutting things down to fit my little A6 discbound journal. Hell yeah, Shy. Fun is the most important thing. Alright, I think that's everything. I need to figure out how I'm gonna get everybody from point A to point B. This is the most complicated part. Making use of things I already have that's close to the size. Hashtag use your shiz. Hell yeah! I just started doing like custom framing stuff because we picked up like 10 years ago now, we picked up a bunch of stuff when we were in England. And we paid for one custom framing job and it was so expensive and it's not like, it doesn't look spectacular compared to what I could do on my own. I've heard that called shopping your stash. Ooh, I love that. That's a cool idea. But But so I've acquired some frames from Amazon, and our next plan is to get a big mat board from Michaels and cut it down to make some custom matting. And I'm kind of really excited about it because I think it's going to look great, and it's going to cost a fraction of what it costs to get one frame done. So many thoughts. Time to pick up the kiddo, but I'm gonna do a cheeky lurk while I'm out, as I intend to come do more work after I get him to his papa's house. Taryn, good luck with the pickup. We'll see you soon. Christmas last year or the year before, I got a plain unfinished wood frame from Amazon and covered it with paper stars. Oh, that's a great idea. Plus, I think the cool thing about doing the mat board stuff is, like, I can learn new skills. I can cut down the mat board, and I can decorate the mat board if I want to, and it's just nice. It's nice to feel crafty again. That was suspiciously easy, which makes me fear that there's gonna be a lot of holes in this outline that I haven't thought of yet. When it's suspiciously easy to outline one plot, you're like, what am I missing? have a lot of like, here's where these people start and here's what like the climax of their story is, so I can tell that there's gonna be a couple story beats that I'm missing here for sure. I have most of my bits and pieces here. Which is good. But now I have to start, next sprint, I have to start putting them in order. And that's always the difficult part. So many post-it notes. You can kind of see this is what my screen looks like right now. There's a bunch of post-it notes, and then in the background here is all of my notes on what else needs to be done, like what the final things that need to be done in the novel are, like all of my little plot threads that need to be wrapped up. So there we go. It's going pretty well. I just have a couple of more notes to jot down in terms of things that need to happen, and I can already tell I have some major blanks that I'm gonna have to fill in. Thank you for the save alert, Blur. Everybody save your work. I am working in programs that are saving auto-magically for me right now, which is nice, but hit that save button. I am going to take a quick break, and I will come back with fresh hot coffee to do that hydrate and also the stretch. But I hope you guys got tons of work done. Outlining a book always feels like simultaneously exciting and terrifying because I'm like, I have so many pieces of this plot in my head. I have so many things that I know are important, that I know I have to put together, and at the same time, I just keep thinking, what am I missing? There's something I'm missing. Like, there's holes in this story. I definitely don't have the full picture yet, and I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop and for me to be like, I have to change a million things. Fun times! This is what it's like to end a novel series. But I will be right back. We'll switch up our background. If anybody would like to redeem a background image for the next sprint, now's the time, because we'll switch all that stuff up when we get back. Or if you just want to keep the background but change the time of day, you can redeem that as well. And I will be right back. I have returned. Heck yeah. Walked away from my computer, got so many thoughts about the opening of this next book. I'm so excited. I am hoping to write this book by the end of the year. I won't get it edited this year, but I am hoping to get it written. So I'm super excited. Let's start with the stretch for the arms and the things, the fingies. Oh my goodness. Oh, good stretchy stretch. And a hydrate from Blur. Cheers. Blur, how's it going? How you feeling today? I hope you're doing a bit better. We are going to head over to the kitchen table. I believe it was typing at the kitchen table that was requested. Kitchen table typing, whatever time of day. Ooh, there's a message. Interesting. And we were requested to hang out with... Now, Taryn is AFK. Sardonisms, are you still here? Because if you're here, maybe we'll do our Lenny cat now, and we'll switch to the orange puppy when Taryn gets back. I'll wait and see if we hear from Sardonisms. Doing a little better today. My voice has returned a little bit, but still feels crumbly. Well, you gotta rest them vocal cords. That's the only way to get them back up. Let's switch, since Taryn's AFK. Let's do Lenny Cat for the second sprint, and we'll do the orange puppy either way for the final sprint, but that way hopefully Taryn will be back to see the orange pupper. So it was Lenny Cat, and it was brown and white. This one, is this the right one, Sardonisms? Or this one? Gotta wait, because stream delay. To find out which is the right one. Second one, Raptor. Okay, gotcha. I love Lenny. He is my favorite. Domerin, of course, likes to hang out with the gold Lenny cat because that is the crescent kitty. We can pet him too. Give him some loves. No problem. And then this way, we'll do the orange puppy for sure for our third sprint, even though we're doing them technically out of order. But that way, hopefully, Taryn will be here when we do the orange pupper. If anybody wants to redeem a background change before we start the sprint, it is still there. I do like that you can see the pumpkins out the kitchen too. I like the way they like wrapped around the backgrounds for the kitchen. Yes, you can pet them. You can pet the spirits if you click on them. It's just a simple little animation, but you can pet any of them. They all have their own little animation for being pet. So, oh my goodness. I love all of Lenny's skins as well. He's such a cutie pie. This is one of the ones, all of the ones, so if you go into the wardrobe and look at Lenny's, all of the ones that have the custom collars with the names on them, so I think it's these ones, all were based on actual people's pets. So somebody had a cat that looked like this, named Raptor, who they submitted to the contest. So this is, I know he's not based specifically on your cat Pickles, but there was another cat somewhere in the world that looked like this. So, and I bet it was pretty cool to get them in there. Need my stickers. I need to get, I have a sticker pack that I use for my day planner, but I'm running low on some of my stickers. I need to get some new ones. So, yeah. But I got up, I walked away on the break, thought of basically the opening 3 scenes for this novel, so I'm super excited about that. My main fear is the middle. I have the beginning, I have the end. I'm not entirely sure how we're getting from point A to point B. And I think the main plot is pretty well fleshed out. I think I have enough action beats to carry that one through. But then there's the side plots. There's always the side plots, and the side plots definitely need attention. Oh, that reminds me. Oh, I never tweeted that I went live. Good job, me. I need to check and make sure that my Amazon packages aren't coming today. They're not. Okay, good. They still say arriving tomorrow. Good, good. Good. Don't have to worry about those today. Perfect. Never realized there were names on the collars of those skins. Yes, it's just a handful of them. You'll notice on the other skins, like this one doesn't have a name. And so like all these other ones, the collar is blank. That means that they were just skins that the developers came up with, but the ones that have the names were actual people's cats, which I thought was super cool. I first of all don't have a cat because Ghost Pepper's horribly allergic, which makes me sad because I'm a huge cat person. But I came like to the game late, like they had already run the contest and everything, so I found out about it later. But I think it's super cool that they did that, that they let a small number of people immortalize their pets in the game. And that's also, I think, why those Lennies don't have the third eye, because they're based on real cats. So they just gave them, like, their real coloration instead of giving them the third eye. Yeah! I didn't pay attention to it either until I read about the contest, and that was when I noticed the names on the collar, that they had different names. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess those must have been the cats' names. There's so many, like, little hidden details and stuff in this game that are so cool like that. And it's interesting, too, because, like, some of the newer spirits, like the Katsudon, so they put them in the base game instead of in the DLCs. But the Katsudon apparently was the original spirit that they first... Like, when they first started developing the game, this was the first spirit they came up with, but they didn't put the Katsudon in until very recently. So for whatever reason, they decided not to include that spirit until later. Mad Lad, hello! How's it going? How did, was it an essay you were planning to write? How did your essay go? Or was it a poem? How did your writing go? That's what I'm asking. Cheers, Mad Lad. I told Ghost Pepper when he came home yesterday that you were frustrated with Paradise Lost, and he just kind of gave a knowing nod. He was also like, not light reading. A 1. And a 2. Yeah, keep an eye out for a sale, Blur, because it goes on sale pretty often. So you should definitely be able to get the base game on sale pretty easily. I did a plan that took me until 11 p.m. Then today I started writing an introduction, and that's where I am now. I mean, that's progress. That sounds like progress. Was the plan related to what you're writing? Were you working on it until 11 p.m.? That's dedication. That's dedication right there. I should show you guys as well. I moved it closer. I haven't shown this in a couple days. This is Joe's second bongo. The phases of Gengar coming along. You can see now that this is like the eyes, these are like the eyes of the big Gengar. And then the stuff here is like trees. There's like trees. It's supposed to be like the Gengar is like partially transparent. You can see like a forest behind him. And then this part down here I changed a lot. I created this Ghastly pretty much on my own. And I heavily modified this guy to look more like Haunter. So I'm pleased with how this is going. Had a frustrating night with it last night because I sat down to work on it. Got 7 stitches in, and my black thread got tangled, and then when I tried to untangle it, it snapped. So that was fun. To start that over. But it's coming along. Writers Troop, hello! How's it going? Yeah, I was planning my evidence, analysis, points, etc. Ooh, Mad Lad, you're doing a proper essay. That's awesome. Writers Troop, how's it going? I assume that you are still streaming because I saw you on this morning, so I hope it's going well. I hope you've been very productive. Gonna raid you in about 10 minutes. Heck yeah, we will be in sprint, so I will definitely be here. I will definitely be here and not AFK. Oh my goodness. I wanted to pop over to Steam because apparently they posted news. Let's see. Roadmap updates. I'm gonna pause the timer just in case this takes more than 2 minutes. Whoops. Infinite Dog is here. Infinite Dog, hello. How's it going? What were you up to this morning? Welcome in, friends. It doesn't always happen, but when I look at one of my quotes with a new set of eyes, yesterday I came up with such a cool interpretation. I was a bit chuffed with myself, such as an insignificant thing to get excited by, but I thought I hit solid gold. Listen, that's not an insignificant thing to be excited by. You did work and you were proud of it. How's it going, my friend? How was your stream? Playing an old DS game I never beat as a kid. Do you find that it's easier to play it as an adult, or is it just as challenging as it was back then? Because sometimes I find with some games I'm like, oh, I don't understand why this was so hard when I was younger. And sometimes I'm like, no, this game is evil. So let's see. We're looking at the roadmap of updates. I was just about to say it wasn't insignificant to be proud as well. Hell yeah! Never downplay your accomplishments. Always celebrate. So let's see. September 29th, we're getting an autumn update. Local music importer, to-do list improvements, other productivity tool improvements. Some Halloween skins for spirits. Ooh, I like that. Color customization for Halloween items. I like that. Reading by the fireplace. Ooh, and painting at the desk. That sounds fun. Plus, a Lo-Fi Girl Halloween playlist. Heck yeah. It's just as challenging, but I have the difficulty on Picnic, so currently actually very easy, but also more enjoyable. Nice. Nice. I have learned that making a game easier for yourself so that you can actually experience it is much better than just quitting the game. I know there are a lot of people who have like strong opinions about games should be hard and you should struggle to enjoy them. But like, I'm bad at games and I'll just not play the game. Like, it's a choice for me between having an experience and not having the experience. So I don't think there's any reason not to have an experience. It's an old JRPG from Atlas, so it's unforgiving on normal difficulty. Yes, old games used to be just... Some old games were insane. Not the same genre, but we had a Super NES when I was a kid, and we had the Empire Strikes Back video game, which I have read since is like notoriously one of like the most hard, like one of the hardest games from that time period. And we got to the second screen and that was it. We never got past the first level. It was insanely hard. So I'm glad you're getting to revisit it, and I'm glad you're getting to actually have an enjoyable and more cozy experience with it, because you want to know how it ends. You want to know how it goes. Winter update, November 17th. General UI improvements, customizable timer sounds. People have been asking for that a lot. I don't use the timer sounds, but people have been saying they're too quiet. New spirit for winter, dresses plus new outfits. Train backgrounds in the bedroom. Nice. They are going to port some of the train backgrounds over to the bedroom. Avatar face update, new face shapes plus ears, and a Lo-Fi Girl holiday playlist. And then they're talking about maybe a new DLC in 2026. Heck yeah. Let's see. Static non-moving versions of the train backgrounds to the bedroom. More face shapes, as well as the ability to select or remove different ear styles. Nice. That sounds awesome. It's great to see that they're continuing to support this game. This is only the second year that it's been out, so it's nice to see. And if you want to keep seeing more development on this game, the backer packs are a good way. They have basically the supporter packs. They're just visual things. You just get more skins for your spirits. But if you have the cash to throw at it, it does let the developers keep developing the game. So there you go. I have thrown so much money at this game. I have over 1,000 hours in this game, though. I have 1,065.8 hours in this game. It's basically, I use it all the time for my productivity. It's great. All right, we're about to get into our second sprint here. Make sure I didn't miss anything. And I need to go back to my post-it notes. Because I just have a couple of miscellaneous things to note down before we get into actual scenes. So I have a screen full of post-it notes, as you can now see. There's the screen full of post-it notes with all of my plot beats that I need to now put into order and fill in the blanks to turn them into a hopefully coherent novel plot. Bought the game around, if not the same time as you, and I didn't use it as frequently, but I have recently, and I'm crawling upwards of 100 hours, which is exciting. Hell yeah! I too just throw all my money at it. My ideology is that I will use it all eventually, and it helps a genuinely nice set of developers continue a game for people who genuinely love and need it. Absolutely. And it's the kind of thing, too, that you can always just throw on in the background while you're doing other stuff. I only have 565 hours. Only. At the moment, but I use it in spurts. I'll use it for a few months, and then I'll be hyper-focused on something and not use it again, and I'll come back. That makes sense. It is OneNote. What you see on my screen right now, this is actually just Windows sticky notes. But in the background of that, what I am about to switch back to is in fact OneNote. I do all of my outlining and like my series Bible and all that kind of stuff in OneNote. It is the program that I favor for that. I have an old ass version from 2007, and it is my go-to. All right, so now I have to start putting everything into, I think I'm done with my day planner because I think I got everything from there. I think I had one other. The Writers Troupe is here. Welcome in. How was your stream? How was the productivity? I think I have one more page of notes for this novel in last year's day planner, so just let me check. Okay, got all of those things. We were so productive. Hell yes. Things are going pretty well over here. I am outlining the final novel in my Everyone's Child high fantasy series. So I'm just going through, I've basically written out everything that I think needs to be included in the book and all of the threads that need to be sort of wrapped up. And I'm just going through my day planner from last year to make sure I don't have any extra notes that I missed. Because I have a tendency to write down, like, smatterings of ideas in my day planner throughout. So I got the ones that I wrote down for this year, but I'm just making sure I don't have anything else that I've missed. Because I just know I'm going to get, like, 3/4 of the way through this outline and be like, shit, I forgot about so-and-so's thing, so, here we go. This is my last page of notes. I'm very excited. I walked away for the break, and I started to get tons of ideas. Cheers. What were you working on today, if I may ask? Okay, got that. Got that. That. got everything. I didn't miss anything that I wrote down, but there could still be something that I didn't write down. That's my worry right now, is that I've got a dangling thread that I didn't write down a note about that is escaping my memory. Convention stuff. It's that time of year. Hell yeah, Multiverse Con is in a month, so we're finishing off the schedule, putting in tech and ops needed, etc., etc. Hell yeah! Well, I hope it's going well. It sounds super exciting. I've never done a ton of con stuff. It's something I've always been interested in, but I've just never really gotten around to. I think I've said that before. And every time I'm like, I'm gonna start looking into it, and then it just gets lost in the shuffle. Oh, I just came up with an idea. It's an awesome con, the con of my heart. I'm a little behind, but really working hard on it today. It sounds like you've gotten so much done today, and you'll get there. Honestly, sometimes you feel like you're so far behind, and then you just get one day where you like leap ahead and you're on top of everything again. And I believe that will happen. When you least expect it, probably, but I believe it will happen. Enjoy your lurk and your tea. Heck yeah. Let us know what type of tea you're drinking when you get back. Cosmic Voidling. Hello, welcome in. How's it going? Outlining the third book in my series. Hell yeah, third book. And I realized I may need to cut a character I really like. Oh no! Like, because their story ended already, or because they have to have a different fate. What type of stories do you write, Cosmic Voidling? LNK14, hello, hello. I added them for the wrong reason, because I liked them. Fair, and I'm trying to force them into a story they don't belong in, and it's causing a lot of problems. Oh no! It does suck when that happens. We always want our babies to be able to be everywhere we want them to be, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. High fantasy? Heck yeah, same. I do fantasy and sci-fi. Back with tea. What kind of tea are we drinking today? That was a whole thing. Had to feed the cat, which meant going downstairs to get more food. So, of course, I then had to pet and love on the cat. Aww, then I had to make another pot of tea. Listen, kitty love is always a worthwhile distraction. You're asking the real questions. Cinnamon rooibos with a bloop of honey and some oat milk. That sounds amazing. I love rooibos tea. If you don't mind, what is the kitty's name and what is their coloration, so that we can all love the kitty by proxy. It took me a solid 3 seconds to realize that isn't the description of the cat. I had a hot minute too. Upstairs cat is an old grumpy ginger girl, and her name is Isabel. Aww. Downstairs cat is a strange cream color with faint ginger striping to his undercoat on his head. His name is Chai. They both sound so sweet. Heck yeah. Halo Banshee, we haven't heard from you in forever. What has been up? I don't know why it's so hard for me to talk right now. What has been up? I too have upstairs and downstairs cat. Upstairs is a grumpy old ginger girl named Hissy, and downstairs is a young white and gray cat named Margaret Catwood. I love that so much. Chai is totally cuddle-oriented, which means when he got out last week, we couldn't tempt him home with treats. We just had to wait until his walkabout was done. Well, I'm glad he came home in his own good time. Some of my characters are getting some just desserts in this novel. Okay, so I've written down everything that I came up with during the last break, so it's nice that we're about to have another break, because then I will hopefully think of more things when I walk away. Now I have to remember... Sorry, the animations may have frozen for a hot second there because I needed to get to my desktop. Did I do the hydrate? Cheers, Halo Banshee, in case I forgot to do the hydrate. And we'll adjust the posture slightly as well. I've been pretty good. How have you been? I was just thinking the other day that we haven't seen you in a while. Ellen, thank you so much for the follow. Are you a writer as well, or are you just here for the chill vibes? Either is fine, of course. Tea is awesome. I think I said that, but it's always worth re-saying. Isabel is grumpy and dislikes all living beings that aren't feeding her right now. Fair. I successfully convinced my parents to take in Tom and Torty. Nice! Tom is FIV, so he needs a new home, and Torty is his longtime wifey. Well, I'm glad that they're going to be able to have a nice home where they can be taken care of. Margs does have a great cat name. You people with your reasonable number of cats. I would have all the cats if I could, but I can't have any cats because Ghost Pepper's allergic. I've been okay, just ups and downs and busy with life, so I couldn't catch your streams. No worries. I'm just glad to hear that you've been doing okay. Whenever a regular disappears from chat, my thought is always, I just hope they're okay. I hope they're doing okay. I hope they've got good things going on in their life. So I'm always glad when someone comes back to say, hey, I've been doing well. I hope there have been more ups than downs, and we're just so happy to see you and see that you're doing okay. Isabel and Hissy definitely have the same souls. It sounds like it. Chai's original name was Tusk because my husband is a doof. But I was like, no, Tusk is a big, tough name. That cat is the biggest cuddlebug to ever be cuddlebugged. Aww. I am a writer. I write fantasy, but not high fantasy. That's okay. All types of writing welcome. Low fantasy, contemporary fiction with whatever fantasy elements I need to get the plot to work. That sounds awesome. My very first novel was more of a magical realism. Definitely low fantasy, a sort of, it takes place in the normal world, but a couple of the characters have like stumbled onto ways to do magic and encountered like magical things in the world kind of thing. I have a soft spot in my heart for all types of fantasy, honestly. So it is awesome to talk to somebody who does something a little different. My current project is, I always say this wrong, isekai with no other magic. I write mostly urban fantasy, which is considered low fantasy generally. Nice. Gonna grab a snack. Heck yeah, grab a snack. It is break time. So I'm gonna be popping AFK in a second here. I've got, basically I've written down all of my key points for this novel plot. I've written down my first 4 scenes, so I know where everything is starting, and now I have to start getting into the nitty-gritty of how do I get from my starting point to my end point. Because I know my end point, I know how everything is going to go, but I need to get there, which is the hard part. I have my stuff on Amazon. So I do everything myself. I'm self-published. I like the creative control of having everything under my power. So you can find my books at that link. Currently, my big project that is publishing right now is the Aravalia Chronicles, which I can, if I can spell my own book's name. The Aravalia Chronicles is like my big project that I am publishing right now. It is a high fantasy epic, but it takes place in a modern world. So basically my characters go out and fight dragons, and then they go to the magical Starbucks afterwards. The main character, Domarin, who is this grumpy little elf gent down in the corner there below me, kind of works for the magical version of the FBI. He is part of the Queen's Division, who are sort of like an elite group of fighters who are chosen by the Queen to protect the realm. And his job is to deal with all of the really dangerous creatures and rogue mages that would make life miserable for everybody else. Ellen, do you prefer fantasy? Do you prefer sci-fi? If you like fantasy, I would definitely say give the Aravalia Chronicles a try, because you might like it. And then the other project that I'm currently working on, which is also publishing, is Everyone's Child, which is what we're working on now. And it's a high fantasy that takes place in a high fantasy world. So it's slightly more medieval setting, more historical. And it's about a daughter of a goddess who has sort of been bound by prophecy her entire life, and she's trying to get rid of it because she just wants to be free to live her own life. Fantasy, but I do like sci-fi. Jurassic Park is one of my favorite books. Nice! I would say check out Aravalia Chronicles. It sounds like it might be your jam. Vailrith, hello! Welcome in! Please let me know if I said your name wrong, by the way. It's nice to see you. So many new people around today. Snack acquired with iced tea. It's almost 100 Fahrenheit here today. My god, it's almost the end of September and it's still so hot everywhere. Pumpkin chocolate chip cookies and cheese and crackers. Oh, that sounds amazing. Pumpkin chocolate chip cookies, jelly. Big jelly. I also have out as well, for the sci-fi lovers out there, My Celestial Serenade is a space opera, so it takes place in a vast and sweeping setting, but it focuses mainly on the characters. And it is about a massive metallic dragon that descends on 2 different civilizations, nearly wiping them both out and forcing them to come together in order to overcome a major enemy. Vale is fine. I can say that. That's good. I'm horrible with names, so Vale is much easier for me. The full thing is often reserved for formal occasions. Fair. Well, welcome in, Vale. If you're a writer, please let us know what type of stuff you like to write, if you don't mind. And if not, just welcome in for the cool vibes. My next project is going to be about a retired general in a post-war world who finds an amnesiac man who looks exactly like his dead lover. It'll be a fantasy setting, but I don't think it'll have a ton of magic. Oh, that sounds like a very cool setup. Do you have a Discord? I do have a Discord. So I share this Discord with my husband. It is called the Pepper Patch. Don't feel too disoriented. You are in the right spot. Striker's Library is just a little scroll down. Feel free to use the whole Discord, of course. We share it between us. But that is where we hang out off stream. Took me decades to work up the nerve, but I'm finally decided to write a novel. Welcome in, HFX Trenor. How's it going? What type of novel are you working on? It's easier to say what I don't write. Mystery. Oh, interesting. So you basically just write whatever comes into your heart at the moment. I think I missed a few things. Let me scroll up. Vanessa says, I'm indie published. Got a contract with a small pub for a different series, but I'm behind on that. Nice! Lunch is after stream, but I'm getting a snack now. Hell yes. Snacks, always good. Always, always good. I'm a Wattpad reader, so I like interacting with authors while I read. No feedback, just my reactions? Heck yeah! I'm always happy to hear what people think of my work. Hopefully good things, but you know. My grocery store sells the best pumpkin chocolate chip cookies. I might need to find a recipe, because that sounds awesome. That's the one I mentioned that I flipped the story of a Danmei that disappointed me. Well, nice, Sardonisms. That sounds super fun. A fantasy with potential to become a series. Well, you're in the right place. I can't write short to save my life. I'm going to take a quick break. I always pause the timer when I go on break because I don't want to cut into our chatting time. But I'm going to take a quick break, pop to the washroom, reheat my coffee, and remind you guys that if you need to get up and move around, grab yourself something to eat or drink, take your meds if you need to, and you have it, because I used to have to do that as well. We'll be right back. We've got one more sprint coming up, one more 30 minutes of me trying to figure out how the heck this novel is gonna end up functioning when I write it. And then I'll be wrapping up for the day, but I will be back tomorrow, again, at 10:30 a.m. PST. I usually stream Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings, 10:30 a.m. PST. And tomorrow we're going to be writing, so there's going to be a lot of clicky-clacking going on, even more than today. So we're going to be working on Ghost Path tomorrow, which is my big project for this year, which takes place... It's sort of a portal fantasy. It's a bunch of people who have sort of fallen down into the garbage disposal of the universe and are trying to find a way to get back out, even though that's technically supposed to be impossible. So just a quick spiel from me. I'll be back in 3 minutes, and we'll chat a little bit more before we do our final sprint for the day. Teriyaki chicken and noodles. I'm missing teriyaki chicken and noodles. That does sound delish. Let me resume this. We did say we were going to hang out with the... Hopefully Taryn will come back in time to see, but we were going to hang out with the orange pupper. Now I assume by the orange she means this one. But if anybody wants to redeem an activity change or a change of the background, there are redeems in the area for that. White Seer Gaming, hello, welcome in. What a cute emote. Is that a little black mage? I love that. That's adorable. Welcome in. What I miss. I send good things. Writing a book is hard. I'm here to admire your work. Ellen, thank you so much. I'm sure the people who you read and send messages to appreciate the hell out of that. I focus on fantasy and science fantasy. Started what was trendy because I enjoyed the genre, isekai, and science fantasy romance, and both are in progress. Heck yeah! I mean, I think you should write what you love to read. If you write what you love to read, then your book will always have at least one fan because you'll love it. So we've got Duran at the desk for Blur with our orange pupper for Taryn, who will hopefully come back in time to see. Heck yeah. Currently, White Seer struggling. What's happening, White Seer? Do you want to tell us about it? No pressure. Are you a writer as well? We've met so many new writers today. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see so many new people and learn about so many new projects. I mostly started these streams so that, because when you write, as I'm sure most of you know, you mostly just kind of go into your own space and do your own thing. So we kind of are isolated creatures, but it's nice to be social sometimes. It's nice to have like a water cooler where we can all get together and chat in between process. So the idea of these streams was to kind of make that space where people could hang out, get some work done, and then in between we can be like, yo, writing's hard. Let's talk about that. Trying to get my head around one chapter that brings the whole plot together. White Seer Gaming, I believe in you. I believe that you can do this. But if you need to talk through anything that's giving you a particularly hard time, we are here for you to bounce anything off of if you'd like. Sometimes just talking about it. Pie's back! Sometimes just talking about it makes it easier, but I sincerely believe you will find that keystone that gets you where you need to be. The bars are closed now, got only 3 more drinks. Pie, are you still on vacation or did you get home? What's happening in Pie space? And how many drinks have you had today, my friend? My first writing experience? I'm 41k words in! White Seer Gaming, that's awesome! 41k on your first writing experience. That's amazing. I abandoned so many things before I got that far in anything. That's awesome. That's almost a complete NaNoWriMo. I did the mere 10 hydrations, yes. They were added to along the way as well, so it ended up being 11. I only drank like 15 drinks in the past 3 hours. Pie, are you still on vacation? Have you gone home? What is... It sounds like you're having a fun night. It sounds like you're having a really fun night. Writers Troop, take care. Thank you again for the raid and for hanging out and sharing info about your cats. We appreciate the heck out of you. It's a fantasy novel with a romantic subplot from my female MC's POV. Ooh, Rai 7-stream streak. Hell yeah, was working while cleaning. I hope the cleaning went well. I hope the cleaning is done now so you don't have to worry about it anymore. These drinks are nothing. What are you drinking beer, Pie? Are you drinking water? Have you been going to bars drinking water? I usually drink whiskey with Coke or just vodka. That's what Ghost likes to drink is whiskey. Whiskey stuff. 'Tis done. Rai Rai is free from the cleaning until the cleaning needs done again. Celebration. I admit that I didn't think of any more really easy to put into the order scenes for this novel, which means I gotta get down and dirty, gotta get into the nitty gritty, gotta start making decisions. There's gonna be a lot of action scenes in this too. I struggle with action scenes, but there's gonna be a lot of action scenes in this novel because it's the final novel in a series. It's, you know, a big war is happening. There's gonna be a lot of epic mage battles, and there's gonna be some sword clashing. So it's gonna be a toughie. I'm drinking La Cucarachas, Barrett's, and some Donald Ducks with double alcohol. I don't know what Donald Ducks are. Or Barrett's, Berets, probably. Love a decent whiskey. I'm back in Scotland in 2 weeks. Oh, nice! We have another member of the community who's in Scotland as well, although I think he might have gone to bed. Went bourbon hunting this morning and came up empty. No, Rai, I'm so sad to hear that. I am also bad at action scenes. I struggle with them quite a lot. I'm just going to pop up our final sprint for when the sprint starts, because this will be our last 30 minutes of productivity for the day before I got to go eat some food. Donald Ducks are non-alcohol drinks with apple juice. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. I'm glad that you're mixing in some non-alcoholic drinks in there. Presumably some of them have been... I asked for vodka in them. Bye. I love experiencing an action scene. I don't love writing it. I write heavily action-oriented novels. Same. So I think the reason why my brain was like, oh, here's a bunch of great ideas, but it stops right at the action bits. So now I have to be like, okay, how am I going to organize these action scenes? So I'm just going to have to make decisions. I'm just going to have to make some tough decisions. Just finished a fight scene. Heck yeah. Pie, we love you. I hope you're having a fabulous time. We'll see you again soon. Here's an extra hydration for the road. Alright. Final sprint. I want to get roughly halfway through this book by the end of stream. I don't think I'll quite get halfway through the plan, but we'll see. For the science fantasy romance, I'm fortunate there is one action scene, the duel between the Dragon King and the knight his daughter's engaged to. Ooh, oh, that sounds like a hella epic scene as well. Between my main characters, a huge alpha wolf that is constricted by vines and brambles, the thorns cutting into its flesh and holding bark against its fur. It's being controlled by a bad Fae King. That also sounds like a very epic struggle. I find whenever you have magic in the mix, too, it changes a lot. It changes a lot of the dynamics. HFX Trenner, thank you so much for the follow. Do you have a particular thing that you prefer? Is Trenner okay? Do you prefer to be called something else? I write some of my action scenes rolling dice like I'm playing D&D. That's a great idea. If I don't like the roll, I generally come up with what I want instead of the scene, and the scene progresses. All the epic battles in this book happen in video games. That must be an interesting experience to write too, though. Tenor. Have I been calling you... I've been calling you Trenner, haven't I? I put extra letters in names all the time. Tenor. Thank you. Should have recognized that as a musical term. Gotta remember that I'm late in the series, so most of these action sequences should take at least 2 scenes. I may ramble a bit if no one minds. I get ideas from talking with others about my work and sometimes helps me through block moments. Hell yeah, that's what we're here for. Just so you guys know, I don't always read chat during the sprint, so if I'm quiet, I'm definitely not ignoring you guys, and you guys can be as chattery as you'd like. I will generally try to catch up after the sprints if there's time. Come to the conclusion that I'm going to write a standalone novel for the character I have to cut from the main series. That sounds like a great idea! Give them their own story. That decision surprisingly made cutting them a lot easier. Now you just have to hope that they'll stay in a standalone novel and not grow it to a 15-book series like certain characters glares at the corner. Poot, how's it going? How's it going, my friend? Let's do a stretchy stretch. Oh my goodness. How is bus driving treating you? Cheers. So, let me mark off the things I've already done. I've done that. I've done that. think everyone has kind of had their first big story beats. Did my first on-street hours yesterday. It's a lot to manage at one time, but I'm feeling pretty good about it. Only had one little moment where I got a little overwhelmed. Uh, Done with bus training today. My trainer is battling cancer and she was having a rough day, so we stopped early. An icon of a woman, always happy. We joke around a lot. I adore her. Wouldn't have even known if she hadn't told me. Well, I'm sorry that she's dealing with that because cancer is a bitch. I have some experience with a family member having battled cancer in the past. I hope she kicks its ass. And I'm glad to hear that your training is going well. I have a difficult time writing shorts, so my luck it'll turn into a duology, if not more. I know that feeling very well, Cosmic Voidling, so good luck. I hope your character cooperates. Trying to determine how fantasy my science fantasy short story is going to be. It has elves and dwarves and lizard folk, but in space! Oh, I love that. My MC is half elf, and his fiance is a humanoid dragoness, more or less. There's tech. I'm also contemplating magic. I mean, sword and sorcery in space is a whole genre, so don't hold back, man. Plus, if you have science and magic, you get to decide how the two interact, which is tons of fun. A pain, but tons of fun. I did that with the Aravalia Chronicles. There's always, like, moments where I'm like, okay, how does technology and magic interact, and which do they favor in the moment, in particular moments? This is gonna be such non-stop action. Like I said, I enjoy reading a good action scene. I like that there's action scenes in my work, but there's such a pain to write. And of course, because I write epic fantasy, I end up having these series climaxes that are just action sequence, action sequence, action sequence. And I like them in the end, but getting to the end is just like, please, make it stop. Peter's back. Peter, how's it going? I thought you went to sleep. I have 5 drinks left now. Hi, I just hope you're having a good time. I'm assuming Pi went to another bar and acquired other drinks there. I'm gonna do one more. I have one more scene that I want to describe, and then we're gonna wrap up for the day. Is there another Megan stream tomorrow? Yes. I hope I won't miss it because I plan to get drunk tomorrow, not just tipsy. There will be one at the normal time, Pi, but I'm sure if you just pop in on your phone at the normal time, it'll maintain your streak. Probably want at least one scene in between. So I think I'm about to hit my midpoint. I am just about at the halfway point, potentially, or just shy of it. So I've basically reached the part of the plot where it's like I'm giving one final deep dark tea time of the soul to all of my characters, and then we're gonna get into the final stretch of dealing with plot. So I think I've done pretty well with the first half of this. I think I've done a pretty good job of setting up for where things need to be. Let me just see. So I've done those plot beats. Vale, thank you so much for the follow. Heck yeah. I'm gonna catch up on chat here in just a minute. I just want to erase what I've already put into the story from my notes so that I don't accidentally repeat anything. To perfect. Well, that went really well. Usually with these outlines, I find that I spend the first half of the day kind of slightly clueless as to what I want to do, and it takes me a long time to get to a point where I feel like I'm organized, and I actually feel really good. I feel like I have a pretty clear idea of how I want to braid the last few things together, and it's really only going to be that climax and trying to keep it clear of, like, getting mucked up that I don't really have sorted out. So this is really good. This is a really good session of brainstorming. I'm feeling really good. Let me just read through chat, and then we will see who's around to raid. Let's see. Alex, the main character, was an unexpected joyous surprise for his human father and elven mother. They thought they were too biologically dissimilar to have a child. However, the Human 2.0 program is a hereditary transformative procedure and has allowed various hybrids between human and alien species. An unintended but welcome side effect. Oh, interesting. Fortunate, the end of my isekai is actually planned to be a heartwarming conversation between a young angry goddess who is expecting to be killed and the guy who she fears is there to kill her. That ends with him bringing her to her elder sister and the two reconciling. Oh, I love that. I love that when confrontations, because not every confrontation has to be an epic battle scene, right? I love it when confrontations are emotional confrontations too. I love a good emotional confrontation story. The end of my isekai is going to be a happy ending, and I have it all planned out. I love me a happy ending. Removing that character from this book has inadvertently made the story take a darker turn. I moved forward the all is lost moment, so it's the midpoint. Ooh, that's a good idea. And now the new all is lost is so much worse. Oh no! Oh no, but maybe that's how the story was always supposed to go, you know? Sometimes it goes bad and you can't stop it. I went to the first night of Writers Club. Why is that worse, Peter? Did it not go well? It's gonna make this book longer since the bad things happened, which was not part of the plan. But you know, Cosmic Voidling, if it feels right, it probably is right. Oh my god, Pie. Are all of these alcoholic? The brown one is nice tea. Okay. With vodka in it, though? Pie has acquired drinks. I think Pie is still on vacation. I love it when plot points come together after struggling for so long. Hell yeah. It feels good when the story finally starts to make sense. I hope I don't miss it too because I love Megan more than any of you. Oh, Peter, you're such a sweetie. Sadly, work tomorrow from 9 to 3:30, so I'll be missing it, but I wish I was here instead. We were happy to have you for 2 streams in a row. I hope you got tons of work done today, and even if you're not there, you'll be there in spirit, and we'll appreciate you just as much, even though you can't be there. The barman is drunk, so 2 of my drinks are a mystery. I can taste that one is mostly vodka. Pie, just make sure you're drinking water every now and then. Do some self-hydrations for us, please. The Conjurer's Tale, in a fantasy series where the main character is a honorable mercenary who gives up his career as a merc in search of stable income. He becomes a guard for a merchant caravan, falls for a fellow guard who is actually the estranged princess. Ooh. But there is a complication to their marriage. He has a fiance in another city-state that he gave his word if he married, he would take her as a bride as well. And then in her insecurity before they get to another city-state, the female main character convinces a third. Complicated. So I have a novel planned for each of the 3 brides and an overarching plot where the male main character has a bit of a Luke Skywalker moment where his father is evil. Oh no! It's like Star Wars if Luke could summon things and had 3 wives with different skill sets. A healer, a fellow summoner, and an accountant domestic affairs manager. Nice. That sounds super cool, actually. I would love to read something like that. Didn't get far today, but at least I was working on the writing. I'm glad that you got some work done, and give yourself credit for the work you did get done. Writing is hard. Everything about writing is hard. Any work that you get done is a win. Any progress is progress. Hopping off, great stream. Love listening to the rain sounds and clicky clacks. Ellen, thank you so much for hanging out. I hope to see you again soon. Character musing. Everything in your house has a story. Not because you're particularly sentimental, but because you aren't. Not a single thing matches because you didn't pick any of it. You don't buy anything for yourself except shoes and food. Even your clothes were provided by the military. The kitchen is always well stocked because the housekeeper who helped raise you insists on checking in, even though you rarely cook anything but the most basic of meals. One wall is made of wood, painted a deep green. You came home from a campaign once and your little brother and sister had done it for you. They knew it was your favorite color. Aww! You were touched, even if you didn't show it. You never bothered to change it. You might even like it. Proof that there are people in the world you don't hate. Interesting idea! Just iced tea. Pie, drink some iced tea in between. Tomorrow is my last day, so I plan to get drunk. I hope it has been a wonderful, wonderful trip for you. I wish to maintain my status as a Sweetie Boop good boy. Peter, you are a Sweetie Boop good boy. You will always be a Sweetie Boop good boy. 2 more streams for 75 stream streak. You'll get there, Pie. You will get there. I'm sure that decimal point was a drunken mistake. Winky face. All right. It looks like what did Peter clip this time? A happy ending. No doubt. I love being a happy ending. Oh my god, Peter. Thank you for clipping that, Peter. Let's see who's on. I did get it right, Pie. I did get it right. Let's see who's doing things and stuff. I'm here to help you be the best that you can be. Thank you, Peter. I'm sure Bruce will turn it into a blurb at some point. Let's go hang out with someone else who's doing some co-working, shall we? Special thanks again to Infinite Dog and to the Writers Troop for the raids today. Appreciate you both, although I'm sure they have both had to go on to do other things. It's always nice to have people dropping in, and it was so nice to meet so many new people. We met so many new people today. You guys are amazing. Thank you for hanging out with me, sharing my work time. I feel so enthused over this novel. Sometimes when I do these projects and I get to a certain point and I'm like, this could be a total disaster, but I feel really good about this one. So hopefully we're gonna get there. If you're looking for more of me, I will be back tomorrow morning, 10:30 a.m. PST for more of this. I'm going to be writing tomorrow instead of outlining, so there'll be twice as many clicky clacks. We're going to be working on Ghost Path, and I'm going to hopefully be doing a scene and a half. Creative one. Hope you're doing well, friend. Enjoy lunch and the rest of your day. Thank you for the stream. Sardonisms, thank you for hanging out. What's for lunch today? Soup and a sandwich, more than likely. I've got some leftover soup to finish in the fridge. So heck yeah. Also on Saturday nights at 7:30 p.m. PST, I do a Cozy Chaos stream with my friend It's Woof. So if you're looking for more of me, you can find me there as well. That is It's Woof's channel in case you ever want to hang out for our Cozy Chaos. And I'll be back next week again, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday a.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday morning, 10:30 a.m. PST. I can say words. As per usual, we are in write mode for the rest of the year, so there's going to be lots of productivity. Keep an eye on the Discord for any other events. Remember, Winds of Chaos has moved to Thursday, so that will be happening tomorrow. That is my husband's D&D game that he DMs over on his channel. And yeah, you guys, just take care of yourselves. I'm drinking and you can't talk. I'm like drunk by proxy, Pie. I don't know how these things happen. Having a sandwich and potato chips. Heck yeah. Also one of my favorite lunches. You guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you to all the new people who dropped by and stayed. You're amazing. I hope we get to talk more to you again soon. I love sharing this work time with you guys. I say it all the time, but you're amazing. I'm so blessed to have you all in my life. And there are days when these streams are what keeps me going. So thank you guys so much. Until I see you again, please remember to eat, to sleep, to drink, to get up, to move around, shift the way you're sitting every now and then. Take your meds if you need to take your meds. 'Cause these meat sacks we're driving don't come with manuals, but they do require a lot of maintenance. And you're important. You're special. And you're a part of this community. And we love you and treasure you and want to have you here always. We're going to go drop in on the Cozy Calico, who is another cozy co-working streamer. And I will see you all again very soon. Take care of yourselves until then.
Free, isn't it?